Wednesday in 1 week, Last Comic Standing returns. An all-new season. This time, we've gone around the world to find the funniest comics on Earth.
Originally from Africa, now living in Canada.
This summer, NBC's ultimate comedy competition has a whole new look.
I'm like the illegitimate son of Jerry and Elaine. Look at me.
An all-new season of Last Comic Standing, Wednesday in 1 week, only on NBC.
He hangs with superstars, drives Italian sports cars, and he can write you a love song.
All that in single? Tanika Reyes, the music man who's one of America's most eligible.
He's the music whiz and multi-platinum producer who's building beats and topping charts with the likes of Jello, 50 Cent, and Rihanna's smash hit. He's even made music with Britney in studio and after hours. We're talking about 30-year-old J.R. Rodham. He's one of Hollywood's fastest rising stars, but J.R. tells me he likes to take it slow when it comes to the ladies.
I don't sleep with a girl unless she's my girlfriend. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, so I don't really live the party lifestyle.
So what's his ideal date?
Probably bring her back here after dinner, play piano for her, and it'd be a wrap.
Oh, that's your Mac. All right, he may seem too good to be true, but he's still a guy. Guess what turns him on?
For the longest time, it was but honestly, something has happened lately where it's boobs.
What do you think is a bigger babe magnet? A pet, a baby, or a hot car?
For me, undoubtedly a hot car.
Ladies will have to put that theory to the test. We were with JR when he picked up a very choice set of wheels, a $245,000 Lamborghini. Who wouldn't want to take a spin with him?
Hey, Dan, did you hear Steve Sciarippa from The Sopranos is coming in to interview with Carlos today?
I thought he was dead.
Carlos or Steve?
That's funny. It's good times.
What'd he do?
Yeah, but you think Tony Soprano's gonna die in the finale?
He's got to go down in the finale. It has to end that way.
No.
He went out in a blaze of bullets last week. But extras brought the Sopranos' lovable wise guy, Bobby Bacalari, back from the dead.
I'm here. I'm alive.
You're alive.
It's all make-believe.
How many bullets did it take to kill you?
Well, I think it was 12 or 13.
And with the big Sopranos finale just 4 days away, we had to ask, how would you like to see Tony go out?
I don't know if I want to see Tony go out. I thought I would die of a heart attack with Adriana in bed. That went right out the window.
Steve says he had an incredible 8.5-year run as a member of the hit HBO crime family.
I don't think it'll ever get as good as this again.
And he joins a long list of co-stars creatively killed off. So we decided to see if he can recall how a couple of the show's most famous mob hits were carried out in our Whack Jobs quiz. The first person up on our Whack Jobs, Big Pussy.
They threw him off a boat, shot him and threw him off a boat. Sleep with the fishes, right?
There you go. There you go. Okay, there we go. Next one up. There we go. Joey Pants.
Joey Pants. They chopped his head off, right?
Yep.
Killed him, chopped his head off. They should have chopped his wig off. Look at that, Look at that piece. What the hell is that on his head? Looks like Davy Crockett. Yeah.
So is Tony next in line?
I've heard things, but I don't know.
The tough guy's not singing. What have you heard?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah. You'll have to tune in Sunday night to see if the big boss goes down when the Sopranos says goodbye.
Well, he used to be the big boss in the White House. Now Martin Sheen's commander-in-chief of a fashion line. No joke, folks. John Kelly sat down with Martin.
FedEx carrier pigeon, I don't give a damn how.
He figured life after the West Wing was going to be laid back.
I'm not going to ask this year, don't worry.
But man, was Martin Sheen wrong.
I've never been busier in all of my life.
The acting legend stopped by our extra studio during a break in his hectic schedule after wrapping his new movie, Talk to Me, co-starring Don Cheadle.
He makes me proud to be an actor.
And get this, the Emmy Award-winning actor is jumping into the fashion world with a new kids' clothing line for boys.
And it's taken off. It's called Jackson Clay.
And what's that experience been like?
Well, it's been expensive.
And now, he's in competition with his son, Charlie.
He has a clothing line, right?
He does, yeah.
So...
No, we don't talk about it. No, we do not talk about it. No, I think we're doing a lot better than him.
When he's not working, Martin's still out fighting for social causes close to his heart.
How many times have you been arrested?
My age, 66.
Actor, activist, and now a designer, Martin Sheen is a man on the move.
Simon's reinventing his hit show, American Inventor, with a new panel of interrogators ready to grill the gadget guys and girls.
My name is Elmo George. I am the inventor of Whizball.
They're bigger, bolder, and more bizarre.
Richard Sr., can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, it's another season of the weird and wacky, premiering tonight on ABC's American Inventor.
Is it not uncomfortable?
It looks comfortable.
The amazing thing is on this show, they've all given up, 10, 20 years of their lives to make this thing happen.
Co-creator Simon Cowell tells our Terry Seymour to expect a very different show this season.
A lot more glitzy, a lot more interesting, better produced.
With 3 new multi-millionaire judges joining the panel, boxing legend George Foreman, entrepreneur Pat Croce, and Sarah Blakely, who turned a simple fashion idea into a fortune.
Do you know what Spanx are?
They're panties, aren't they?
They're like pantyhose. Anyway, she started with $5,000 and she's now worth about $3 billion.
But only one daring inventor's dreams will come true, walking off with the $1 million grand prize.
For you, in the early days, what would have fulfilled your dreams?
What, a show to help me? Let's create the perfect human being.
Who is?
Might have won. It didn't exist.
Mr. Perfect.
I did it the hard way.
Create some time for American Inventor tonight on ABC.
Woo!
Coming up, star wedding secrets. We tour the posh French castle where a primetime star is saying I do. Then, Lady in the Water. Olympic champ Amanda Beard goes skinny dipping in Playboy. Next.
I'm just nervous to get out there.
Actually, that's okay. It's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be timid. But it's also okay to try something new and put yourself out there. It's okay.
Visit the all-new Match.com today.
Now you can look like you spent 7 days on vacation while you fight 7 signs of aging. With new Olay Total Effects Touch of Sun, an anti-aging moisturizer and a touch of sunless tanner. Fighting aging just got sunnier.
For lips that chill. New Sugar Sugar lip topping from Revlon. Frosted crystal, cotton candy color. There's nothing sweet about it. Sugar Sugar lip topping. New. Only from Revlon.
Hey girls, want really pumped up hair? Prime it with Anti-Flat Weightless Volumizing Cream. Just use it before your normal styling products for more body than Sven. Right, Sven?
Righty.
Sunsilk Anti-Flat. Get hairapy.
Rosie's raucous return.
I don't know if you've heard, but I won't be back on The View next season.
Her first outing since she left The View, and the book that will reveal all of the biting details. Next, Access Hollywood.
Tonight at 7:30.
Pirates is #1 around the world 2 weeks in a row. It's breathtaking, jaw-dropping, eye-popping, and the greatest adventure of all time.
Magnificent, isn't it?
Pirates, rated PG-13. See it now.
Lucille Roberts, the best women's gym in America, just got better. Our Memorial Day sale is here. Join for $5 a start and $5 a week. Get great results and a great new body, all for $5 a week. Call 1-800-USA-Lucille and get our lowest price of the year. Hurry, sale ends soon.
So am I hearing this right? A silver guy on a flying surfboard chased by fire?
Happy Father's Day.
See Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, only in theaters. Find fantastic gifts for Dad at Circuit City. Pay no interest until 2009 on TVs $499 and up when you use the card. Or save $520 on this LG 42-inch LCD with home theater system and Firedog installation. Now $1999.99. Circuit City.
Real Talk's Going Broadway starring Lyons and Bales. Take an exclusive backstage tour. See how Hollywood stars are swapping the screen for the stage. And get an up-close look at the Tony nominees.
Real Talk, celebrating Broadway.
Saturday at 7 on NBC4 HD.
2 gold medals, 4 silver, and a smoking new layout in Playboy. Olympic swimmer Amanda Beard's creating quite a splash with her cover shoot for the July issue.
I work out a lot, I guess. That's how that happened.
Last night, the gorgeous gold medalist joked with Letterman about her revealing gig.
We swim for 5 hours a day.
You're telling me if you work out a lot, there's a good chance you'll appear in Playboy?
Amanda's Playboy appearance hits newsstands Friday.
It's the biggest love match in France this summer.
Ah, oui. But not the French Open, Eva Longoria's wedding. And Extra has a tour of her love castle.
Priceless art and golden furniture fill this castle fit for a queen.
I am beyond excited.
Of course she is. This is reportedly the stunning setting for Eva Longoria and Tony Parker's fairy tale summer wedding in France.
We can't wait.
And Only Extra has your first look inside the lavish 17th century estate called
Chateau de Vaux-le-Vicomte.
thanks to the Tennis Channel's Rochambeau Williams.
Since I'm in Paris for the French Open, I decided to do a little exploring.
From the gilded salons to the hand-painted vaulted ceilings, this breathtaking palace was used in the James Bond classic Moonraker and Leo DiCaprio's The Man with the Iron Mask.
I am king.
Now the historic chateau, surrounded by a moat and massive manicured grounds, will have a starring role in Eva's wedding.
It is truly magical.
Eva tells Extra she's more than ready for her big day.
I want it to happen tomorrow.
But the desperate housewife will have to wait. Eva and Tony say their I-do's 7707.
Up next, Tanika's outtakes from the Ocean's 13 red carpet.
This week, Alec Baldwin hosts a star-filled Saturday Night Live with Steve Martin, Tony Bennett, Paul McCartney, and music by Christina Aguilera. What more do you want from a TV show? This week on NBC.
Danny didn't come home last night.
We're coming to you from the home of Daniel Pearl, the journalist who's been kidnapped.
Her husband went missing.
They claim he's CIA.
That's crazy.
Now, her true story of courage
You can make the difference of helping Danny or nobody finds him.
will inspire you.
The kidnapper's point is to terrorize people. I am not terrorized.
Angelina Jolie.
If you could say one thing, what would you tell him?
I love you.
A Mighty Heart. Rated R. In theaters everywhere Friday, June 22nd.
Why would we put a sport-tuned suspension and magnesium paddle shifters on a Lancer? Another lap?
Let's do it.
Because the all-new rally-inspired Mitsubishi Lancer.
Woke up this morning, cable triple play in my head, craving TV and internet and phone is what I said. High speed internet, nothing's faster. HD TV, nothing's clearer. Cable digital phone, so I can talk all day. I want it all. 1-800-KONE-IT-ALL.
NBC, Monday, June 18th. For the first time on American TV.
There's a lot of baggage that comes with us, trust me.
The Princes, William and Harry.
He's a wow thing, all right, yeah.
About their life and their mother.
People will always have a fascination about her.
Special Dateline Monday, June 18th on NBC.
Closed captioning and other consideration for Extra provided by
With Pam for grilling, food sticks to nothing.
Entertain your mouth with refreshing Tic Tac.
Eyes need an intervention? Give them L'Oreal's new collagen filler eye.
With new anti-hollow action so unique, it not only helps fill in lines, it minimizes under-eye hollows with new light diffusing technology.
Reducing dark circles so eyes look brighter.
L'Oreal's new collagen filler eye.
Who has more fun than the Ocean's 13 stars?
Possibly Tanika Ray.
That's right. We'll see you next time.
You are George Clooney and you're gorgeous.
I am formerly George Clooney.
Formerly?
Yeah, well, I'm going to go a little Matt Damon-ish.
Does that work for you better than George Clooney?
It hasn't yet.
Do you ever rub George Clooney like, oops, oh nice, in like Copperfield?
No, I don't have to say oops with those guys. I just go and get it.
You look great.
I try to work it. I distracted George
You working
completely.
it. Did you? I bet you did.
I'm available, baby.
Did you see the size of his shoe?
Take great pictures. Check out George and the boys being boys in Entertainment Weekly. Oh, look what just got put in my hands.
Nice. When that happened?
I don't know. It's apparently happening soon. Soon, as in it's on stands Friday, opening day for Ocean.
Storage compartment, hidden whiskey bottles, and an indoor-outdoor bed? The Austers just had to have some answers. They began researching their home's history, and what they found out was fascinating. In 1922, a wealthy real estate developer named Walter E. Pierce bought the home. He had helped design the Idaho State Capitol building in Boise, and even served a term as mayor of the town. But he also had a rebellious streak.
Even though he was highly politically connected in the town, he still didn't like prohibition laws. So he put a still in the basement.
And there's nothing like making moonshine to keep the whole family busy.
The children were the ones actually corking the bottles in the basement as...
Some people have it all figured out. Budweiser Select. Brewed longer with hand-picked Bavarian...
Scooter Libby. G. Gordon Liddy's coming here. I cannot believe that we've booked Jordan Libby to talk about a pardon because we know about his role in Watergate. Liddy's coming here to sit right there in the hardball debate up against Mark Green. And tomorrow in hardball, one of the most informed of the Hollywood experts, Ben Affleck. Whatever you think.
Yeah, very funny, Dad. Although I don't think Mom would find it very funny.
I don't care what your mother...
It's designed to outperform your expectations. Your sense of speed, your idea of luxury, and last of all, designed to outperform all your other choices. Presenting the Edmunds.com editor's most wanted sedan for under $45,000. The M. From Infiniti. Now lease an Infiniti M for $419 a month.
Fall in, gentlemen. Lunch is over. We're going back to training. Back to daggone a stain, Von?
And now, the HBO original series, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Inventor of the Jarvik Artificial Heart, Dr. Robert Jarvik.
For many people like me, diet and exercise aren't enough. But adding Lipitor significantly lowers bad cholesterol, 39 to 60%. I take it because it does more than that.
Tonight, G. Gordon Liddy, who served...
He began his weekly general audience. The Pope did not appear to notice.
With Chris Matthews, MSNBC tomorrow at 7. NBC News, now on iTunes.
I'm Monica Novotny. Here's what's happening. Police in Overland Park, Kansas think they've found the body of missing 18-year-old Kelsey Smith. It was in a wooded area across the state line in Missouri where investigators traced 2 signals from Smith's cell phone. We are awaiting a statement from Kelsey Smith's parents any moment now. She was apparently abducted from a Target store parking lot last Saturday. Police have not identified any suspects, but they are looking for a person of interest seen entering and leaving the store at about the same time as Smith. And a scare at the Vatican when a man tried to jump onto Pope Benedict's uncovered Pope-mobile as he began his weekly general audience. The Pope did not appear to notice what happened as security guards quickly grabbed the 27-year-old German man. Officials say there is no indication that he wanted to hurt the Pope. And a TV milestone, Bob Barker taped his last episode of The Price is Right. He hosted the program for 35 years. The 83-year-old Barker is now retiring after 50 years in television. I'm Monica Novotny. Now we'll take you back to Hardball.
Welcome back to Hardball. It's time now for tonight's big Hardball debate. Should Scooter Libby receive a presidential pardon? He faces 2.5 years behind bars plus a $250,000 fine. Will President Bush save a key member of his war brain trust, or will he let him face jail time? Our debaters tonight, G. Gordon Liddy, who served time in jail himself for his role in Watergate, and Air America President Mark Green. Mark, you first. Should Scooter Libby be pardoned by President Bush?
No. A jury of his peers said the evidence was overwhelming. A judge appointed by President Bush 43 said the evidence was overwhelming. He committed a crime, which is obstruction of justice, lying to the FBI, and you do the crime, you pay the time.
Mr. Liddy,
Absolutely.
you've done time.
Yeah,
Why shouldn't this guy do time?
Because I did time because I really did something. Bear in mind that Mr. Fitzgerald, when they started this, knew who the leaker was and knew it was not Scooter Libby.
Well, Libby was one of the leakers. He just wasn't the first.
No, he was not the one who, did the deed. Secondly, he knew that there was no violation of either the Intelligence Identities Protection Act or the Espionage Act. So what does he do? He goes, starts asking questions of people in and around the administration, and he gets a conflict between the recollection of Tim Russert and Scooter Libby. He chooses to believe Tim Russert rather than Scooter Libby, and he prosecutes him. Obstruction of justice. Obstruction of what? There was no crime.
May I comment on that, Chris?
Sure, react.
How do you know there was no crime? The prosecutor said that he was pursuing, potentially, Richard Armitage, Vice President Cheney, who we now know did leak the name. The standard for the 82 Act that you mentioned is quite high. You have to knowingly release the identity of a CIA agent that you know is covert. While Fitzgerald was pursuing it, Scooter Libby lied to people about what happened, so Libby frustrated the potential of a charge of the act under the 1982 law. And so I don't understand why Republican partisans are soft on crime when it comes to it having to be done by a Republican. I believe in law and order. If you commit a crime, you agree perjury and obstruction of justice is a crime, you should go to jail. As a judge said, and remember, this judge is not some left-wing judge. He was appointed by President George W. Bush.
Okay, you left out one of the key elements of the Intelligence Identities Protection Act, and that is that the person has to have been posted within the last 5 years abroad in a covert position. She was not. So there wasn't any question about the violation of that, and there wasn't any question about any potential violation.
Why do you think a jury of all those juries decided that he was guilty of perjury and obstruction? Why did the judge find him? These are not Democrats. These are people appointed, as Mark said, by Republican presidents, and the jury was, from what I could tell, pretty apolitical. Why'd they find him guilty? Why'd everybody in this case find the case tight?
Well, I don't think they found the case tight. What you have here is something that reasonable people certainly can disagree on, and that is people's conflicting memories. That's all there was. You've got no documentary evidence, you've got no forensic evidence, you've got none of that. And you might just as well be prosecuting him for impersonating a human being and being a fugitive from the Board of Health. I mean, there just was no crime here. That being the case, then I think the president has a moral obligation to pardon him and to do it right away. Just cut this thing right off at the knees. Matter of fact, he should have done it.
You know, this is just the argument. Excuse me, Mark, I don't want to get in your time here, but it's exactly the argument a lot of people made on behalf of Bill Clinton. Back when the president was impeached, and he was impeached and almost convicted, although that was a partisan vote in the Senate, basically, the argument was made by the defenders of the president. Okay, he lied in a deposition involving Paula Jones, and he lied about a relationship with a woman, but there was no underlying crime here. Therefore, he shouldn't have been impeached over perjury and obstruction of justice. No, just a minute. And the same thing you guys are saying now, because there wasn't this Espionage Protection Act violation, therefore his perjury, proven or not, his obstruction of justice, proven or not, should be thrown out because there was no underlying crime. Well, I ask you, what was the underlying crime of Bill Clinton's in the case of the impeachment and the almost conviction?
Well,
there was no underlying crime.
An impeachment is just an indictment. Just,
right.
That's
but everybody at the time on the left said, oh, there's no underlying crime. And therefore he shouldn't have been convicted of, he shouldn't have been impeached for perjury. You guys are using the same argument now.
The argument that I'm making is quite different from that with respect to President Clinton, which I made at the time, if you'll recall. I mean, President Clinton, said something that was absolutely not a fact and demonstrably not a fact. And what they had was forensic evidence. You know, remember the blue dress and all of that.
How can I forget?
Okay. There's no forensic evidence here at all. What you've got is Tim Russert said, I remember it this way. And he says, no, I remember it that way.
There were 7 or 8 witnesses who said that he knew this information before he ever talked to Tim Russert. And they brought them all to the stand.
You don't usually have forensic evidence when you're lying. There's no stains involved. Here's the difference. After $70 million in a special counsel, Bill Clinton, of course, was never prosecuted. Here we have a Republican Justice Department and an independent counsel being convicted of a crime. You say there was no evidence. The only people who disagree with you are a jury and a judge who use the word overwhelming evidence, which is different than no evidence. Look, I do think, not that Bush should, I do think Bush will pardon him. President Bush has shown such a contempt for the rule of law. Look at the U.S. Attorney's investigation. Look at the 2 Supreme Court decisions overturning him on a lack of due process in Guantanamo. Apparently, when George Bush was told he had to faithfully execute the laws, he took it literally. He creates his own reality, Chris. I think he'll pardon them because he can't go much lower in the polls, said a Republican supporter of his in the Washington Post today.
I have to ask you the same question, Gordon. Will he pardon him?
I don't know whether he's got the nerve to pardon him or not. He's so wrong on so many things these days. His biggest problem right now is this immigration, this illegal alien amnesty thing. He's pushing that in the face of the base. He doesn't have to run again, but a lot of other Republicans have to run again, and he's just tearing the party to pieces.
So this would be 3 strikes. You're saying, well, if he doesn't do it, you're saying he will do it or won't do it. You say he's afraid to do it? Why would he attack his base by not pardoning at this point?
Why would he attack his base by calling them, bigots and racists and everything else like that because they oppose him on the immigration?
Because the other part of his base, big employers, want him to do it. If George W. Bush has challenged his base, neoconservatives on the war, the religious right on Terry Schiavo, or any of these votes, I don't know an instance when he's directly challenged his base. So I assume he won't in this instance. He's not running again. And whenever he's been shown that he's done something that's unpopular and wrong, he shrugs.
Well, I got to say, there's one comparison between you, Gordon Liddy. You never threw Nixon on the tracks.
No, but let me tell you.
And this guy Liddy has never thrown Cheney on the tracks.
No, but let me tell you,
like you took the bullet.
Let me tell you the message that this sends, though. It's the same message when I was in prison, and they used to consult me, and I tell them, look, if you get called to the captain's office, stop at the door and look inside. If the captain's alone, go inside and find out, if your mother died or something like that. If you see there's 2 guys there, they're cops or federal agents, don't even enter the room. Because if you enter the room and you come back out, you get killed if you're a rat in prison. People who say you talk to the police, if you didn't have a conversation, if there was no conversation, then you don't have to worry about it. What this says is the FBI comes knocking on your door saying, we'd like your cooperation. We want you to talk to us about this and the other thing. Your answer should be, no, thank you.
And that's what Scooter said.
Forgive me, the lesson is patriots support the rule of law.
Okay.
That's patriotism.
Okay, Mark Green, thank you, sir. Thank you, G. Gordon Liddy. It's great to have you on the show, Gordon. Good. Because you are an iconic fellow.
Good to be back.
Up next, what's behind Rudy Giuliani's recent surge in the polls? He keeps going up. Rudy Giuliani, the guy they say can't win, keeps winning the polls at least. This is Hardball, only on MSNBC.
Sure, I stumble. I struggle. I get new pains. Whatever, I've got Advil, my every pain reliever. It works wherever I hurt. I'm all Advil.
Wrap yourself in youthful, glowing skin with our added Ribbon with Light Enhancers. In new Olay Body Wash with Radiance Ribbons. It's the body wash that moisturizes and turns the lights on your skin.
Now what's wrong? They printed these in color. So? She's gonna flip. No, man, it's a Xerox work center. Prints color for pennies a page.
Color's good, presentation's good. I'm shocked.
Glad you like it, sir. You are shocked? Really? Because we're shocked. Shocked you even get it, pal. Dave, what are you doing here?
Came to fix the mute button. Bye-bye bonus.
Coming up, will women turn out in droves to support Hillary? And can she win if they don't? When Hardball returns.
The best of Joseph A. Bay. Signature suits, $3.99. Trio suits and executive suits, $1.99. Even our famous summer suits, $179. Plus spring sport coats, $149. And dress pants, $99. Try our new Stays Cool collection. Sport shirts, golf polos, jeans, pants, even dress shirts, $49. Only at Joseph A. Bank. Now through Monday.
My life changed in an instant. I lost my job, and as a result, I lost my health insurance. The first thought in my head was, how am I going to get my medication I need? I was in a lot of trouble.
I've met so many hardworking people in America who just need a little help. I had no insurance.
It was important for me to get those medications.
And the PPA has been there for many of them. We've been to nearly 1,000 cities in all 50 states, helping more than 3 million people in need. If you're uninsured and struggling, America's pharmaceutical companies want to help. Call 1-888-4PPA now to see if you may qualify. Tell the trained specialist the names of your medicines and you could get them for free or nearly free.
It's as easy as a phone call. PPA saves me $1,300 a month.
Take control of your health. Start by calling 1-888-4PPA now.
It really brought tears to my eyes that there really is hope out there.
Without my wife and PPA, I don't know if I could have been here today. The Partnership for Prescription Assistance, on the road to helping you.
You want AT&T?
No, Sprint.
The smartphones are at the starting gate. And away they go. It's Sprint Mobile Broadband against AT&T's Edge. They're digging for an email attachment. Sprint is starting to pull clear. 2 times faster. 3 times faster. Crossing the finish line at Sprint 5 times faster.
Sir, your table is ready.
Oh, thank you.
Businesses get the new Palm Trio 755p for $279.99. Visit sprint.com/business.
Good night and good luck.
The opinions expressed on this show will make you mad, sad, elated, proud, livid, frustrated, cynical, ecstatic, break out in a rash, pee your pants, cause you to punch a hole in your drywall, or throw heavy objects at your screen.
Tomorrow, Ben Affleck plays Hardball. Who does he think will be a hit with the entertainment elite? Hardball with Chris Matthews, MSNBC tomorrow at 7.
NBC News, now on iTunes.
Scarborough Country tonight. As an actor, he showed America the horror of genocide in Rwanda. Now as an activist, Don Cheadle shows you the unimaginable tragedy in Darfur and what you can do to help end the crisis. Scarborough Country, MSNBC tonight at 9.
Scarborough Country at MSNBC.com. Get the day's events from a regular Joe with video highlights from Scarborough Country at joe.msnbc.com.
Welcome back to Hardball. We've dug into the big headlines of the day. Now it's time to tell you what it all means. Let's bring in the Hardballers, Democratic consultant Jenny Backus, Newsweek's Howard Feynman, and former Bush advisor and top lobbyist in Washington, Nick Callio. First up, beating up Bush. The Republican candidates failed to fight each other at Tuesday night's debate, but they did go after their increasingly unpopular president. I'm surprised by this, but take a look.
The president ran as a conservative and governed as a liberal.
I certainly would not send him to the United Nations.
I have been so disappointed in the president in so many ways.
I'm going to give you a little straight talk. This war was very badly mismanaged for a long time.
The problem with this immigration plan is it has no real unifying purpose. It's a typical Washington mess.
Well, how scared are these candidates for the Republican nomination of their politically toxic potential predecessor? Nick Callio, you've worked in a major position for President Bush. What are these guys running to if they're running from the Republican president in the White House?
Well, Chris, I don't think it's any secret that the politicians don't want to be associated with another politician with low poll ratings. And I think there are levels of disagreement between the president and the candidates involved. Some who I would, I guess I would describe as marginal or fringe. Tom Tancredo criticizing the president, big deal. I think that the criticism of the handling of the Iraq war is justified in many respects. So I don't think there's anything unusual here. And I think a number of the people who were there were just expressing disagreement over certain aspects of policy.
Well,
Nothing
is it simply
unusual.
that, Jenny Backus, the war? Is it immigration? Certainly there's a lot of opportunity to demagogue, if you will, opposition to the president of the war. There's a lot of running room out there on the right.
I think here's what the problem is. The Republicans are going through what the Democrats went through. It's this huge identity crisis, and I think they have a real problem. They don't know who's driving the party. This was Karl Rove and Bush that were supposed to remake the entire world for the Republican Party after 2004. It didn't work. So now they're stuck with, it's a change election, and they need some way to show change. And the only way to do it is sort of gently tap George Bush. But they're really not breaking with Bush on the thing that's killing Bush.
Tap him.
That was a gentle tap.
Back in 1988, George Bush Sr., the first George Bush, rather, read on a campaign pledge to be kinder and gentler. That was a gentle tap against Reagan. But this is not gentle.
Yeah, that was the gentle tap, except that the late Leo Atwater's whole strategy on behalf of Papa Bush was to grab Ronald Reagan by the ankles and not let go. He said to me, we're not going to put any daylight, not an ounce of daylight between Reagan and Bush.
What was kinder, gentler all about?
That was very kinder and gentler way of doing it. That was the kindest and gentlest way of doing it.
But Reagan's not Bush
I know,
now.
but this is a different situation. I mean, I talked to Republican strategists for the column I wrote in Newsweek this week who said they don't even want, they're going to predict that if these candidates are smart, whoever wins, that George W. Bush does not speak at the Republican convention in Minneapolis.
At all?
At all.
That won't happen.
At all.
I'll give Monday night at 7.
Yeah. Last time there was a war this unpopular, and a Democratic president and a president from Texas, it was Lyndon Johnson, 68, who did not speak at the Democratic convention. Now, admittedly, the country is not torn, at least doesn't look that way in the streets, but it is divided. And, you know, these are Republican consultants I was talking to, not Democrats.
Let's come back and talk about the strange doings last night. Talk of evolution back and forth, of monkeys back and forth, of lightning striking in the middle of a Giuliani event last night. A lot of weird stuff happening in that Republican debate last night. You're watching Hardball now, only on MSNBC.
Here's to men. To guys who want to spend more time having fun and less time in the men's room. To guys who want to go less at night. And here's to Flomax. In 1 week, Flomax may relieve male urinary symptoms due to BPH, also called an enlarged prostate. Flomax may help symptoms like frequently waking up to go, going often, weak stream, in 1 week. Only your doctor can tell if you have BPH, not prostate cancer. Common side effects of Flomax are runny nose, dizziness, and decrease in semen. Upon standing, a sudden drop in blood pressure may occur, rarely resulting in fainting. So when starting Flomax, avoid situations where injury could result. If considering cataract surgery, tell your eye surgeon you've taken Flomax. Could you feel a difference in 1 week? Call 877-4FLOMAX and ask your doctor about Flomax. Flomax could make a difference in 1 week.
Let your mind go crazy. Let your body go wild. Let your body go wild.
Introducing Jello Fruit Passions. With a full serving of fruit. 80 calories or less. New Jello Fruit Passions. Because every diet needs a little wiggle room.
Now get a hint of Mother Nature with the protective power of Crest. New Crest Nature's Expressions. Choose between natural peppermint oil, lemon and mint extracts, or mint with green tea extracts. New Nature's Expressions. It's Crest with a natural twist.
When you need to gather important information, nothing works like posted flags. Posted flags help you mark pages, tab files, and highlight what's important, so you can organize things to be just the way you like them. And check this out, a highlighter that keeps flags right at your fingertips. The Posted Flag Highlighter. What'll they think of next?
How much trouble can your kids get into in their own room? When they're on the internet, plenty. Make sure you talk to your kids about surfing the net and install parental controls to keep them away from the sites you don't want them to visit. Learn how to protect yourself and take a bite out of cybercrime.
The new comprehensive security suite from McAfee gives you not only parental control, but peace of mind. Go to Comcast.net and download it now. Free for all Comcast high-speed internet subscribers. It's Comcastic.
This summer, get the sunblock that also blocks the bite. Bullfrog Mosquito Coast Sunblock and Repellent. Up to 8-hour protection against harmful rays and pesky bites without the odor. Bullfrog Mosquito Coast. Block the burn and the bite.
Ditch the itch.
Feel the heal.
Shed the red.
Feel the heal.
Cortisone 10 has the strongest itch relief medicine available without a prescription, plus 10 healing moisturizers to heal itchy, irritated skin fast. So,
Ditch the itch.
And
Feel the heal.
Cortisone 10.
Welcome back to Harbor. We're back with Jenny Backus, Howard Furman, and Nick Cowley. By the way, we just learned that Rudy Giuliani, the former mayor of New York, the 9/11 man, has decided he's not going to compete in the Iowa straw vote this summer. Boy, that's amazing. But let's take a look at what happened last night with Rudy Giuliani. Did God strike GOP debate? Is the headline. It came down with a vengeance. And with little warning at the Republican debate Tuesday night, when Rudy Giuliani was asked about a Catholic bishop up in Rhode Island who's been blasting him for his position on abortion. As Rudy was answering the question, here's what happened.
Catholic bishop, any real issues of
That's
morals
the lightning that's having an effect on our system.
As they're going to leave me alone, John. Well, I guess I'm here by myself. Look, for someone who went to parochial schools all his life, this is a very frightening thing that's happening right now.
So what do we make of that? You can make light of the fact that the deity is coming down on you from above. I mean, there are certain things that are sort of a joke.
The deity said, "Do not compete in the Iowa straw poll."
Apparently, he said the same thing to McCain.
Because that's where all the pro-life activists are going to be in Iowa. Not all of them,
on the
but
Republican
on
side,
the Republican side, and that's part of the calculus. Rudy saying, "You know what? I was a lost leader for me anyway," I think he's saying. Whatever I get there, I get. And maybe it's a tactical mistake, but that's what he's doing.
Nick Cowley, I sometimes think that when we look down on the Sunni and the Shia and other people in the Middle East for fighting over religion, we now find ourselves in the United States of America having a presidential election about lightning striking a candidate, about abortion rights, about whether we're descended from, as Huckabee put it, primates. We're back to the monkey trial here in 2007. Is this good for the Republican Party, this sort of internecine debate over first beliefs, primary beliefs?
Well, over primary beliefs, Chris, I actually do think it's a mistake. I don't want to hear about evolution. I think people can have their beliefs in private, and I think that, as long as it doesn't have an impact on policy, that's fine. People have different beliefs. They live with those. I don't think it should be a major element of the Republican debate for president, nor do I think that, whether Romney's a Mormon or not should be a major part of the debate. Abortion rights, that's a different story. That's going to be with us forever as a political issue. But in terms of, whether it was Newton, whether the apple fell or not, it's just not working for me personally.
Jenny, is this good news for the Democrats that the Republicans are fighting this intramural fight over age-old, perhaps never-ending arguments?
It is, and the other problem is that it's not about issues that voters care about right now. I mean, the Democrats won in 2006 a lot because of luck, but because also people thought we were the party that cared about what people in their daily lives cared about. The fight about evolution seems, 50 years ago. Abortion rights for a lot of people, a lot of younger people think it's new.
I'm not a media critic, certainly because I'm part of the media, and I'm not going to get involved in the intramurals of media criticism. But do you think it's a fair shot of Tom DeLay, who sat here, and I think a lot of people agree with him, that CNN set this up last night, that we, in our own way, set it up when we had our debate at MSNBC at the Reagan Library, by even raising questions like, and even allowing audience questions to come through about evolution, that we are just bear baiting. We're like rattling the bars of the cage to the Republicans and saying, "Oh, I'd argue about evolution."
No, because I think it is a tactic that goes against science and against progress. And there is a sense in ideology that those people scoff at Democrats for Al Gore for saying that he cares about global warming. Well, now Al Gore's pretty much right. Or Democrats talking about new technology. I think that the Republicans have used evolution and abortion rights as values issues, as moral choices in elections.
Rights. I think Nick Cowley's right. Howard, this is a battle over science and modernity. Are the Republicans being forced to defend traditional beliefs, fundamental beliefs about the Old Testament in a politically modern campaign environment, which is unfair?
Well, I wouldn't blame it on the media, frankly. I'm going to disagree with you. I think this...
Not me.
And I also...
Tom DeLay, please.
All right. And I also think it is fundamental and it is relevant. I would disagree. I think it's very relevant.
Science is important to understand.
Science is important, and when you're talking about curriculums in schools, That's where the rubber meets the road in American society. Are you going to have people elected to the school boards who are going to take evolution and science textbooks out of the curriculum and replace them with something else?
What you make of McCain last night?
I think that's a big deal.
He said leave it at the local school boards where they teach evolution or creationism.
I thought that was a chicken way out. It's sort of what McCain does on some of the social value issues, is that a lot of people, at least in 2000, a lot of us, some sort of middle-of-the-road Democrats said, oh, I could vote for McCain because he's not as nutty. Well, I was at the DNC, and we saw his voting record, but I think he's trying to sort of have it both ways with that.
Let me go right to Nick and ask you about, do you think a Republican who is pro-choice, I hate the shorthand, and you do too, I'm sure, who believes in the ultimate right of a woman to make a decision about abortion, life and death, and all that's involved, perhaps, is that going to be a deal breaker for Rudy Giuliani?
I'm not sure. Everybody disagrees with me, Chris, mind you, but I'm not sure that it is. I think if people take a look at Giuliani and decide that he's a good leader and would be a good leader, the abortion issue may not discount them. And I think it would be for him to tell people that, that's where he stands and that's what it is, but look at all these other things.
I think you're right, but I'm not sure. Anyway, thank you, Howard Feynman, as always, buddy. Thank you, Nick Callio. And thank you, Jenny Backus. Tomorrow night on Hardball, actor Ben Affleck. I think we're going to have him for most of the hour, and you can submit your questions for Ben. You're laughing, Howard. He is really smart. You are so smart. Start sending them in right now. Countdown with Keith Oberman starts right now.
Which of these stories will you be talking about tomorrow? Scooter Libby good? George W. Bush bad? That's the headline from the fifth of the scheduled 193 presidential debates. What would the Republicans do with the future ex-decider-in-chief?
I certainly would not send him to the United Nations.
But the Scoot Man, United Nations, CIA, home, whatever works. 2 Republicans would pardon Libby. 2 others say
this is excessive punishment.
Excessive fear-mongering. New York's current Republican mayor does not toe the party line when it comes to the JFK terrorists' pipeline pipe dream. You are more likely to be hurt by lightning or hereditary disease, he says, than by terrorism.
You can't sit there and worry about everything. Get a life.
Not that anybody objects to a Republican official insisting we shouldn't run around like chickens when the sky is falling, but why is Mayor Michael Bloomberg showing such calm common sense? None of that in British television, where the documentary on Princess Diana's final moments is telecast tonight, despite the pleas of her sons, the princes. Nor any common sense in the new British Olympic logo. We don't know if it will get the movement to give London the 2012 Games, but apparently it can give viewers epileptic seizures. Nor is there any common sense among the starlets. Lindsay Lohan in rehab, reportedly planning out her big birthday blowout in Vegas. Paris Hilton in jail, reportedly not eating. And the news there is what? Speaking of the news, Roger Ailes compares Fox Noise to Al-Qaeda. And the news in there is what? All that and more now on Countdown.
Get a life.
Good evening. It is believed to be a first for a sitting president. At his own party's presidential debate, he emerges as the clear loser. And he isn't even one of the candidates. Our fifth story on the countdown, the good news for President Bush, only one of the former members of his cabinet was there to throw him under the bus in New Hampshire last night. The bad news for Tommy Thompson and the other would-be Republican nominees to succeed.